Kenda, how are you? Good. Good to know that. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. We're going to talk about the movie The Guilty, Dave Chappelle versus Hannah Gadsby, Midnight Mass, that piece of dog shit TV show. I have the secret $1 million chili recipe. I have it. I'm going to share it with you. Colin Powell died. We'll talk about that. You, season 3, 365 days. That porn movie where they're definitely fucking. Whole bunch of stuff. Here we go. Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
How was your Indigenous week, Chemda? How many statues did you get?
Oh, I took down at least 2 or 3. It was very rewarding.
I threw paint on the wrong one. They don't look alike, these fucking statues. Anyways, Diamond Dogs. New Diamond Dogs is in your VIP package. That's with my buddies Craig Klein and Adam Brown. Remember I was telling you Adam Brown passed away?
Yeah.
That's completely wrong. He's fine. Anyway, here's the description. Was it an accidental collocation of atoms that led us here, or was it simply thanks to journeyman Cristobal de Colombo? Regardless, here we are, learning that Jake Gyllenhaal came up with the idea of The Guilty all on his own to create something completely new and different for Netflix. Let me tell you a little something about this movie, by the way, Hemda, before I finish the description. There's a new movie on Netflix, very popular, called The Guilty, starring Jake Gyllenhaal. He's a 911 operator, as a disgraced cop. You never really learn that story. He's a 911 operator. You only see his side of the story throughout the whole thing. This you can wash the dishes and watch.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Because he's making it up anyway. So just make up whatever you want in your head.
Yeah. And before I saw the movie, I heard interviews of him, and he talks about, I wrote it and recorded it, and everything was done in 11 days. And he said, well, I saw it. Okay. It'll take 2 weeks if you're making a movie. Anyway, he goes, so I wanted people to get the effect if you don't know what's happening on the other end. It's a remake. He's saying he's rating the script. He only wants you to see. It's a remake from a Dutch movie that was done only 2 years ago called The Guilty. And however you speak that in Dutch.
They're both called The Guilty?
Yeah.
Wait, was he trying to get away with something?
Yes, yes. He wants us to think he invented a movie.
Well, did this blow up and I have no idea? Like, is he in trouble?
I don't think people know.
Shut up. I saw the beginning of the trailer. I don't like to watch full trailers because I think they're fully spoiled.
Sure.
Like they spoil every twist and turn. And I could see, he's a 911 operator, like you said. And he's just like, what's your emergency? Right. I'm so bored. And then somebody sparks his interest. And I'm like, there was no other call. And I know I didn't hear too much of it, but I guess nothing's going on and you're bored.
Right. He's dealing with a lot from a story when he was a cop that we know nothing about. What's also funny about this is the Dutch movie is like 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. Big hit. I didn't know about it at the time.
Wow.
So I watched this new version, 48% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I was bored shitless. That is good for the guy who had the first movie. Because I bet if the second movie does good, somehow the first guy gets more money. But at the same time, especially if you're the actor, you're like, it's a one-person show. Fuck you.
Right. And not just that. It's like the director, the writer, they're like,
yeah.
Oh, copy paste, huh? Okay.
And it's all on Jake's shoulders.
I didn't know he spoke Dutch. Hoe gaat het met jou? Very good.
It's all on his shoulders, and if your movie does worse, that's you. You have to go home knowing that is a big risk you took.
It matches the ego, right? It's just
sure does.
Do you think he really thought he was taking a risk, or he's like, oh, the prizes I'm about to get, the rewards?
Did he mad? It's like, oh, people didn't like this movie. How do I tell you you do like the movie? You already told me this is what you love. You said you love an apple, and I brought you an apple. Yeah, but you brought me a gold apple. It's an apple. People still like gold apples.
You know what? That's a wrong concept. Apples are not apples. No, you can compare apples to apples, not just oranges. And I will not eat some of those apples.
Well, he learned that the hard way. The Beaver Boys also discuss getting laid, of course. Friends having 100% different takes on Dave Chappelle's The Closer.
Shut Which one of your friends?
The one I wish was dead now. And Nicolas Cage appreciation. Craig was defending the closer in a big way.
Craig, you and him fight so much about what he defends. And sometimes, because we watch you in the chat, and it's just like, Craig will say something like, you know what? It was decent. And now Keith was just walking away from his camera.
Right.
He turns around, like there's, food at the door for him. His shit's coming out of his ass. It doesn't matter. Craig said he kind of enjoyed something that Keith hated. Keith comes back and goes, you know what, Craig?
Now it's on. And then Craig has to go too. He loves it.
Right. So that now you're
now
fighting.
We're dancing. Yeah.
It's very interesting because Craig will really start with like a light. It was okay. It was I like that kind of thing.
Right.
And Keith goes, don't you dare lie to everybody. And it was, so yeah, this doesn't surprise me.
I was proud of Friday's show with Rod, with Newsy, and us too, of course. People from all walks of life, all types of sexual how you doings. But we all agreed we did not like this special. So if you need to hear another side, there's Craig's for sure. Somebody pointed out. It doesn't sound like I said it nice, but everybody likes both sides. There it is.
But also, you described, the group on Friday, but Craig's also from a sexual how you doing, you can't just disregard that if you're going to bring it up.
Yeah. So you can hear an opinion of love in this special from a guy that also does sexual how you doings.
I am, I'm going to listen to this episode, but I am going to guess that Craig does not love it. And you just got into a fight with him. You're like a couple who fights over like, you never do the dishes. Oh my God, I did the dishes last week. Great. You did the dishes one time. Now you always do that. I didn't say I always do the dishes. It's just like, holy shit, what's happening? Just, I don't know.
He probably does get me riled up and he goes, I said it's of note.
Right.
What the fuck are you wanting to marry it?
Exactly.
And then him make fun of your marriage. That's what you wanted. I saw on Twitter, somebody put a picture of Chappelle and the quote when he said, remember, taking a man's livelihood when he was getting canceled, he's saying, taking a man's livelihood is akin to killing him. And DVS blast rates, taking someone's personhood, though, well, that's just simply asking questions. I enjoyed that. Ted Sarandos, the head guy at Netflix, he put out a statement saying, look, we have things that make people think. And yes, sometimes they're controversial, but the audience can decide. We have Dave Chappelle. We have Hannah Gadsby. We have Hannah Gadsby goes, whoa. Take me out of your mouth.
I was wondering why she was trending. I love this show. Why. Thank you for updating me.
Hey, Ted Sarandos, just a quick note to let you know that I would prefer if you didn't drag my name into your mess. Now I have to deal with even more of the hate and anger that Dave Chappelle's fans like to unleash on me every time Dave gets $20 million to process his emotionally stunted partial worldview. You didn't pay me nearly enough to deal with the real world consequences of the hate speech dog whistling that you refuse to acknowledge, Ted. So there's not going to be another Netflix special for her anytime soon, but
whatever. I think all of this stuff is just like, that makes people watch hers again and his again and Netflix more. If they, how like there's India Row, like I think it's on 6th Street in Manhattan, and every restaurant in that block is an Indian restaurant, and there's a big joke that it's one kitchen in the back, right? Meanwhile, side note, now Seamless is doing that. Some since the pandemic, people are doing these pop-up restaurants that are just kitchens, and you can order from like literally 20 different restaurants that are named different with different cuisine. And it's all coming from the one Chinese food restaurant downtown or something.
Absolutely. Because, I've been getting into duck lately, but but it's Peking duck and it's very expensive. So I'm looking around for it. There's different restaurant names, but it's obviously the same place because they use the same emojis to drag attention to this Peking duck. Emojis nobody would normally use, the alien emoji, and it's exactly the same price, gets here exactly the same time.
Yeah, there was a Vice thing on it, and this guy, they're interviewing this guy, and he's like, oh yeah, you see that dish you're eating? Probably we'd use a different sauce. We call it something different. he opens up another restaurant, quote unquote.
Well, no joke.
Amazing.
Chuck E. Cheese did that during the pandemic, and they called themselves like, you can also look up Joe's Pizza, and they just give you a USA box instead of that stupid rat.
Amazing. I mean, you know, I'm like conflicted on how to feel on it. A huge part of me is like, you know, it was a pandemic and good job. If I'm eating your Thai food and it tastes just as good as your, you know, Chinese food,
but it won't. There's no head game. I'm going to like Chuck E. Cheese pizza.
No, not Chuck E. Cheese, but this guy, it was really funny because you see his kitchen, his setup, and he's like, here's the American corner, and it's like chicken wings.
Right.
He's like, it's crazy. What were we talking about though? I had
Hannah Gadsby.
Oh yeah. So what I'm saying is, if you told me all of this, like, you know, the back of India Rose, like one kitchen, if you told me that, I'd be like, yeah, sure. If you told me that they're all working together,
right,
and this is just another way for us to talk about it again, to watch something again, to like draw our friends in, I would believe you.
Sure,
but maybe that's because I'm reading Trust Me, I'm Lying, which is the guy that promoted Tucker Max by, you know, destroying his he put up a promotion, and then he destroyed the promotion and sent it to blogs and publications going like, finally this guy is getting taken down, and then it blew up. And remember, they were like protests and shit like that, talking to us about all this stuff that happens purposefully just for you to get angry and to share something.
Fuck you and your amoral algorithm cult, Hannah wrote. I do shits with more backbone than you. That's just a joke. I definitely didn't cross the line because you just told the world there isn't one.
Oh my. Okay. If we did not know that she was brilliant, do we now know she was brilliant? We did like an hour on Chappelle, and it was just written in like 2 sentences of hers. That was amazing. I don't even know how to take time and write like that, let alone speak like that quickly. Wow, Hannah.
All I know is I'm finally going to watch that special. You see all these times I'm saying she, that's probably wrong. You know what? I wonder if Netflix now, like when I see shitty shows, I'm like, I think they're just buying anything that isn't anti-trans. You know, I saw this show, Midnight Mass, and it's a vampire show, but with slices of life. You know, which when you think about vampires, you think slices of life. You know, that's the best. That's the coolest thing about vampires. What a piece of shit bore. But I picture like when they sold this show, they're like, okay, picture a town of idiots, right? So isolated that they somehow never heard of vampires. Okay. But they have cell service and internet connection. Real morons. Okay. Now get this. The vampire is the priest. Okay. Now get this. Netflix is like, yeah. And then it gets nuts. Is it transphobic? What? No. Sold. Done. Like, okay. All right. If anybody saw Midnight Mass, were we really supposed to pretend that woman was old? She had putty coming off her face. Then with vampire powers, she gets younger and younger. They just keep taking off old makeup. It's like, no shit. You don't fucking say.
I thought maybe you would like it because I watched a little bit of the trailer, and it had a slowed down song, and I know how much you love it. Oh, simple things.
Yeah, I do. I do like. I like when they slow things down, but I don't like when you slow the story down. I like the song slowed. The movie has to go fast. I don't know if that's confusing to people. And the woman keeps is the old love of the priest, and so they start making out and stuff. But it's like you got to pull this lady apart from you and look at her. Like, what if like you're making out, you're fucking, you look down, it's like, oh shit, you got younger and younger. I'm banging a toddler.
Ugh, what the fuck?
That's how fucked up this show is. Anyways,
is it a show or a movie?
It's a show, but it's a show.
Oh, that's why. See, sometimes I don't want to start a show because I'm like, could this have been a movie instead of an entire season?
Yes.
Are you fucking with me? Do you have a concept that you keep delaying?
And these shows, you think, oh, you get people like shows, you get more out of a show that you simply can't get into a 2-hour movie. Nowadays, shows tell you even less.
Yeah.
I like movies because it's understood you should get unless it's a horror movie, that's anything fucking goes. But at the end, you'll get some kind of closure. A TV show, you don't even get closure.
Right. Yeah. You just get like a suspenseful ending to the season where you're like, fuck, I got to watch season 2. That being said, I love a series because then you get to like
Sure.
live with the characters for a little while. But man, it has to be really good because it's
a lot of time.
down. Yeah, it's a lot of time.
I have a movie pitch. What do you think about this? It's a movie about Jesus's birth, but Mary just happens to be goddamn ugly. Would that be great? And the audience is debating if they can say something. Like it's none of these Hollywood starlets. It's just somebody who you can't say it out loud. Not that fucking attractive that Jesus picked.
I would like to pitch that version of every movie. Like there's so many rom-coms where the woman lead is so fucking annoying. And I'm like, how much of this would you tolerate if she didn't look like a bombshell? Yeah. Like how much of this bumbling, ridiculous act of help me constantly or goofy me, like, oh yeah, you get to say goofy you because you're shiny. You're like, you're actually a star. I don't know how to look at you. Right. So yeah, every movie.
That's that love at first sight, you know. I like just say you never saw anybody more attractive in your life. How about that?
And that's nice too, but it's a separate nice.
Right. New daddy issues also in your VIP package. Me and my brother Ken tell you about the latest, about the family home, about how we were raised, etc. The siblings are back to discuss a listener's letter, the state of their childhood home. This is called Crystal Clear. Their mother's secret writings. We found secret writings she was writing in private.
Oh my God. I saw that you wrote that and I'm like 1,000% in because your father cleared out the house and didn't clear out secret writings from your mom. Don't even tell me. I don't want you to spoil it. I have to listen to this. This is a must listen.
I'll tell you where they were found. You're thinking, wasn't everything thrown out? She hid the writings that she would write in a cookbook, knowing he would never make a fucking thing. She had a secret life in her cookbooks.
Oh my God.
Quarter cumin is a clue.
Oh my
God. They talk about $1 million chili recipe, $1 billion painting, and getting to finally use the good china. You'll see all that in your VIP package. In fact, I'm looking at right now the chili recipe. There is one. My dad said, hey, I got a chili recipe from my neighbor, but, fuck him. I'm going to give it to you. You make millions of dollars. What do you say? Everybody ignored him, of course.
Now, I saw you sent me the screenshot of this chili recipe. And I have to say that is the most well-written chili recipe or recipe at all.
A lot of indents. It's really a piece of artwork. And if you have VIP,
he's writing a whole script.
If you have VIP, go to your app. It's the app is free. KeithAndTheGirl.com/app, and click on that show, and you'll see show pictures for that, and you can see it in person.
Also, you could just go to your app store or Google Store Play thing. You don't have to go to the link.
You don't have to. Kenda doesn't want to take you out.
It's a Keith and the Girl app. No, I just think it's like old school a little bit.
Okay. Nobody likes to be, told the easy way. Why even have a chili recipe? Just smell it and remake it. Here's your ingredients. Ready? A pound of ground meat. This is a $1 million idea, by the way, folks, that I'm giving you. Ready for and some ingredients rate says special ingredient by it. So this is what most people don't do. This is really what takes it over the top. There's a lot of them. Italian sausage links. That's a special ingredient. Rotel. I think that's kind of generic. Rotel diced tomatoes and green chilies. So it comes in a 10-ounce can. That's a special ingredient. Hunt's diced tomatoes. Okay. Frozen diced onions.
What? Frozen diced onions?
Frozen diced onions. I guess you can buy the chopped ones and, get by. But frozen? Chef Ramsay wouldn't be very pleased. It'd call you an idiot sandwich.
Actually, the frozen ones are good because they chop it and freeze it right away. So it holds on to the flavor. But you need to buy chopped onions that are frozen.
You have to buy frozen diced peppers. You have to have chili powder, Creole seasoning, a certain kind. Tony Chachere's 8-ounce container. You have to get the 8-ounce container. You're only putting some in, but it was an 8-ounce container, and that's the one you need. It keeps the air just right. You want to hear another special ingredient? Prego sauce.
That threw me a little bit.
It
I know
did
that.
throw me. I know it's fucking Prego or Ragu. I knew it. Prego sauce, and then parentheses, meat and mushroom, comma, or whatever type you like.
So I guess he likes meat and mushroom?
That this guy did. Yeah, I guess so. But it could be whatever. That's the secret ingredient. The sauce that you buy.
The secret ingredient is someone else's secret ingredient.
Right. So you brown the sausage, you throw in your vegetables, and you throw in this the sauce that you like, and you made $1 million chili recipe.
No, I didn't put this together until now. I made chili last night.
And did you use Prego or Hunt's?
No, you don't need to use anything to make chili. Really, who's saying it's the easiest fucking shit?
Then in this thing also, you guys with the app are in for a fucking treat, because then it tells you the source of the items, where you can get them. And you have the original Creole seasoning, 8-ounce container. You can find them at P.O. Box 1639, Opelousas, Louisiana, 7057. And then there's a phone number and a website where you can get diced tomatoes, where you can get the Italian sausage links. Dried oregano, there's no information for that. You can use whatever you like for dried oregano.
Okay, so here's what I'm picturing, right? Your dad's a crazy person.
Yes.
And unfortunately for the super had to interact with him, right?
Right.
So he doesn't let people go in a conversation. He just keeps asking you innocuous, inane questions that nobody has the answer to.
If he has nothing to say, he'll stand there until something comes to him. You got to be like, oh, you're not his stature, but I'm going to go.
Right. And they live in the country where people are super polite and patient and are just, hey, this is the person in my building. I'm going to talk to him. He brings up a chili recipe. Your father shows so much interest that this guy doesn't know how to get out of it. He says the recipe. Your dad writes it down and he hands it to him. And the guy doesn't know what to say. Like,
Right.
Imagine somebody kind of did something nice for you that you didn't ask. And now you have to come up with a response. So the response might be, well, this is the nicest goddamn, this is, wow. Did you do this? It's like a 7-year-old coming to you.
Right.
And it's like, I did this. And it's like, wow, really? Is that a ghost? You drew the ghost?
I wrote the instructions so perfect. He put it on his fridge right in front of me. Gave it a red crayon A++. Because
if you think about it, what are you going to say if somebody hands you that?
Mind blowing.
Oh, well, why did you bother? Is that what you say?
Right. And he wrote on the top the guy's name, Randy's chili recipe. So when he gave it, he's like, Randy, Meanwhile, I'm going to tell my kids about it behind your back, and they'll make millions. What a scumbag. Paige writes, I really love this recipe. I think Randy was stoned when he discovered this masterpiece. He started out wanting some spaghetti. After he had the sauce mostly made, he realized he didn't have any pasta and decided to throw in some beans, because it would be weird to eat spaghetti sauce with no spaghetti.
Great job, Paige.
Bethany writes, I acknowledge receipt of this recipe, which looks wildly delicious. That's one of the things he said about the recipe, as well as your presumed intention of allowing me to profit off of said recipe. Otherwise, you would not have provided, in addition to the ingredients, the sourcing of such ingredients.
No.
I look forward to recreating this marvelous chili, and one would never have guessed the secret ingredient was whatever type of Prego sauce you like.
It would be great.
Secret ingredient, Prego. Good luck, chefs.
What would be great is if you take everyone's response to your father, copy and paste it in a new response email. Like, Here's Bethany's response as if it's from me. Here's Paige's response as if it's from me.
Yeah. So all that stuff's in your VIP. Let me mention this. While you're in your VIP account, grab your free ticket to this week's Silent Trailers live virtual show.
I'm so excited about this. This will be the first time that in a live show, 2 people will be working together. Now, these people like to fight a lot, so I'm hoping that works against them as much as it does for them.
Amen.
So Allie Clayton and Melody Kamali.
Yeah.
Shout out to you guys. You guys will be so much fun.
They're going to have a time. Well, thank you very much, everybody. That is a VIP. We appreciate it. If you're an IP, okay, that's no joke, but become a VIP today. Go to keithandthegirl.com/VIP. right? We love you. Fuck it. There, I said it. Okay. Henda's tricking me in OMAC Club to learn about my feelings, and it turns out I'm madly in love with all of you. All right. Big news. Colin Powell has died.
Oh.
He was a secretary in the White House of some kind, but apparently very powerful. This guy. So now I see, of course, oh, what a great guy, and it's such a big name. And this guy was a piece of shit. This guy was a piece of dog shit. This is something I say to my therapist, by the way. I go, Squid Game sucks balls, right? She's like, yeah, it does. Like, thank you. Hey, Colin Powell's a piece of shit, isn't he? Because the world's saying he's great. No, he was a piece of shit. Colin Powell was the gravitas that told the American people that we should, in fact, invade Iraq. This is following 9/11. This is about 2003. And he goes, I was there. There are weapons of mass destruction. Let's go to war. This guy is a piece of shit. And it's weird that, after we found out the truth, he could even appear on, CNN or any of these shows and be like, I have a thought about politics. Scumbag. We're talking about, taking people out of Iraq or how about you starting the Iraq war? How about that? Even as opposed to Bush. I know the buck stops there, but even as opposed to this guy, we believed. This guy could say a complete sentence, and he's a piece of dog shit.
It's another sort of reference to the guilty, right? Like people forget or didn't know, and then you just kind of go by what's happening now. 2 years before, there was the same movie,
right? But
coming from Holland. And now this guy's just like, it's whatever people want us to think at the moment.
He's 84 years old. He had blood cancer and COVID. So he was vaxxed, but between the two, that was the end of it.
And also he was 84.
Right.
I mean, shout out if you're 84. I'm not like waiting for you to die, but sure. There's not going to be a lot of surprise on my face.
Right. You're absolutely right. I'm a fan of BetterHelp. My therapist says, you're right. They are gaslighting. I'm like, yes, yes. I've never seen more boring vampires in my life. Right. And she's like, you are right. I'm like, yes. She hates my assignments to her. I'm like, you got to watch Midnight Mass. But anyway, it feels good when she agrees. And that I appreciate. BetterHelp. Mental health is finally a thing. You can talk about it. And now it's easy to do yourself. Whatever you need, it's time to stop being ashamed of normal human struggles and start feeling better. You deserve to be happy. You don't have to worry about finding an in-person therapist, whether you're worried about COVID or just the convenience of where you live. This you could do anytime. Phone, video, text even. That'd be goofy, but you can. You can go any way you want. And it's cheaper than in-person therapy. I would think it'd be the opposite because it's so convenient.
I think the texting is helpful because you have options for who to text. So you could text your mother and tell her your thoughts, and maybe you needed to wait a beat, or you text your therapist with those thoughts and she goes, maybe hold on to that thought.
Well, I like that. Yeah, I wouldn't do texting a half hour, 45 minutes of texting.
I see.
But I do like the idea that right now I can literally text her.
Yeah.
We don't have an appointment like I'm about to kill a motherfucker.
No, I'm angry.
Yeah. The podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Keith and the Girl listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp, HELP.com/KATG. That's BetterHELP.com/KATG. Both me and Hemda use it. I know my buddy Craig started it, so we'll probably get his real opinion on Chappelle soon. And I think he'll dig it.
The thing is we've had a lot of people on this show, and we go to therapy, they go to therapy, and no one has come on here really and said what a bad idea that was.
Yeah, you're right.
What a horrible thought process for me to go and seek therapy and talk to someone.
I have too many tools. I saw a Onion article, the satirical newspaper or website, and it says, man who posted, "We can all get through this together," kicked off social media for spreading COVID-19 hoax. Meaning, we can't get through this together. That's bullshit.
Isn't that the whole point of Squid Games? Is like, will people actually do the right thing, the nice thing if they're
Right.
met with. And I'm like, you know what? The answer is always no. If it's you against me for my life, no matter how nice of a person I am, you're asking me to fight for my life. So if that's
Right.
how you're going on what the masses are, where they'll always think of themselves, also like way to make us feel guilty for looking after ourselves. I think that's not the better help way to go. And I thought when we watched the whole series,
The whole series. Holy shit.
very strange to say. It's goofy, right?
It's so goofy. It's so goofy.
And it's not bad. I don't think it's bad, but you do have to let go of like, look, this is a game, it's a TV show. You kind of have to make these little like, all right, this is goofy, but we're gonna do it. They did catch me in one episode where I did tear up, and it was the where they paired up with the marbles.
The girls, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You teared up. But you got to the end and you were relieved because everything must have tied together, I have to assume, after 9 hours.
First of all, I love that there was like one person at the end. Okay, that's not a spoiler. You kind of know the whole time because
you know the whole time.
Yeah. Oh, are you here again? Okay.
Right.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm a little tied to this character. You think they'll die this time? Like, okay. Oh, tug of war. How will my team win this time? And they figured it out on the elevator up. Okay.
Right. They're weak. They have, weak women as opposed to strong men. And but they figured it out.
They did. And that's part of the goofiness. And I was like, you know what? I enjoyed it. I know they're gonna win. So just tell me the goofy shit that's gonna make them win.
Yeah, I know what characters you put on one team.
Yeah.
Ones we've seen. And what characters you put on another team. They're the blue shirts in Star Trek. You know who's gonna die.
Yeah, like they'll show a character and I'm like, oh fuck, I don't know who this is. You're dead. I was actually watching, going like, you're dead. You're up next, buddy. Right. You're dead. Why are they showing me you?
Even the two girls with the marbles, I'm like, you kind of threw a second girl in my face all of a sudden.
Yeah. I'm like, I think I'm gonna be able to guess like which brother's in the orphanage. The one that's gonna save. But that one got me because it was the first time that our characters that were going to be saved were not. So and the fucking that guy who completely fucked with the other one and lied to him. Oh my God.
Yeah, you didn't like that. They're not nice.
I did not. That was not nice.
But when you got to the end, what did you think?
Oh, it was like climbing a mountain and you're like, oh, nice views. This is kind of challenging. It's a little bit difficult.
Where's my reward? Right.
Yeah, you get to the top of the mountain and they just like push you over like that guy did to his fucking brother.
Right. Fuck you. Yeah, they pushed me over.
Yeah. I was like, this is the ending? No.
Yeah.
Okay, if this is the ending, you can at least not pretend that this is deep, because the ending was supposed to be like, and now you're really going to go into some depth of perception. It's like, oh, you're extra goofy now. Also, and this, I don't think it's a spoiler. Like, why is he alone in a room, this massively rich guy, just like on 2 ventilators or something? I don't know, like in a hospital bed alone with like no caretakers. It's an obvious billionaire. And it's like, oh, what's the saddest scene? Oh, let's go through this whole apartment that's clear of anything. There's no sign of life. And who do we see? Who was it gonna be? I am the worst at predicting things, but I was like, oh, what a shock.
Yeah. Come on. Stop it. Stop saying it. Stop saying it's fucking good. Not even decent.
Although okay. I don't want to fight with you.
Well, you can after saying all that shit. It's on tape, Kenda. Go ahead.
Totally. It is goofy. I'm not upset that I watched it. I didn't think it was a waste of time. I thought it was entertaining enough that I'm like, okay, I could see why this is big. It has like massive killings. Oh, people love watching people getting killed and being the worst of themselves. So I see like, and the way you're introduced to the games, like, holy shit.
Yeah,
but
I would love
goofy.
that. By the way, my Jesus, but Mary is Ugly movie, I would love your review being, I didn't hate seeing it. I didn't feel I wasted my time either, Henda. I'm nominated for a KATG for my rant on Squid Game the other day. So yes, good. I'm glad too. Everybody's glad.
I have to re-listen to your rant because sometimes because I think the rants, they sound so different before and after you watch the thing. So I wonder if it'll be less fucked up if I hear it now, like, oh yeah, he was right about that. Oh, he wasn't that angry. Okay. Yeah. Cause I just yelled at it a bunch and I'm like, I'm not mad at it, but I need to yell at it a bunch.
Well, I'm seeing season 3 of You, YOU.
Me too.
This is the guy, this guy. He's got this lucky blue hat. He puts his hat on, right? And he can hear across a crowded club what somebody's saying. He's a stalker. He falls in love with a new woman every other 2 seconds. And so the friends of that woman have to die. You understand. But this hat, he can be right up to you selling your insurance. Even if he's your husband, if he has this hat on. So anyway, in season 3 of You, he's now with the woman who's also a murderer. And who,
by the way, I never liked. Okay.
You don't like the nose acting?
Oh my God, thank you. I cannot. And I feel for her because every fucking scene she has to turn on the waterworks.
Yeah.
Every scene, this actor has to cry legitimately.
Yeah. Yeah. And so now they're together and she washes the lucky hat and he was busted in 2 seconds. They took away the powers. But they're seeing a therapist now. So she kills somebody. He goes, and they have a fight over it because he's the best killer. He could have helped. What'd you do? What'd you do wrong, wife? They go to couples therapy. You don't think a therapist is going to figure out what you guys are up to. So you use code words, It's like, oh, she killed somebody today. Well, obviously you don't mean killed a person. Right. You mean killed his heart. Then let's go into that. Like, how's this worth it? Yeah. Everybody needs therapy and they know that. Even the U's know that.
But also the show You, when it first started, was so suspenseful. And he had, this is weird to say, but he had meaning in his killings. It was like actually out of nowhere. And then we learned him. So it was like, oh yeah, of course you're dead. But well done. There was like something to it. And then season 2 was like, okay, we know that we like when you kill, but like, this is now you're just what? How many uses do you have for that cage? Okay,
season 3 is just so far it's just jacking off and killing. Season
3 is a regular like movie from the 80s that's a haunted or like here's the trailer. Ready? Like a regular neighborhood, maybe yours, in the suburbs. They think everything is safe. You moved here for the schools, but who moved in next to you? And it's like this fucking boring ass. Every episode so far, and I'm going to watch it till the end. Every episode so far is like, are they still in the suburbs fucking making cupcakes? Okay.
She starts a bakery, Mrs. U. She buys a store. She's in some snooty place. Everybody's gluten-free and all this, but she's the best baker in town, if you remember from season 2.
Of course.
And this place is filled with cupcakes, 70,000 loaves of bread. No one's buying anything. She has to run out of the store real quick and tell somebody, can you turn off the stove? Stop baking shit. No one's buying it yet.
Also, if you think of the timeline, that woman signed her lease. And then like 4 days later, we're still whatever, right? They're still
there's 4 days murder.
4 days later, she has the bakery up and running, fresh coat of paint.
Yes.
All the cupcakes, all the
cool awnings, a little tart or what is it? Something like that. Yeah.
Right. Like the register set up, the chairs and tables. And it was like, whoo, those were a tough 3 days. She's up and running in 3 days in a bakery.
Right.
She just signed the lease.
Luckily, there was no montage scene about her doing all that shit. They just show her put one chair just right and done. And here's the fucking bakery. And then the U guy ends up getting the measles. That's really just to make a comment on COVID. Did you catch that? Or did you not get there yet?
Yes, I did.
But the science is out there. Why wouldn't you be vaxxed? Yeah. And he was raised horribly, so he wasn't vaxxed when he was a kid for the measles. And I'm like, I guess get the word out there. Sure.
Absolutely. It felt like we get what side you're on. We get it.
And the U's have a baby.
Yeah, that's smart.
they should show trigger warnings, alcohol, language, murder, and a baby always fucking crying. And I can't help but think about the asshole parents that let these babies be in the. We're going to just make your baby cry and show that Mr. You can't connect with anything. Oh, sounds good.
I thought of that too, because they had to do a lot of acting with the baby's face showing. Like a lot of times when you're working with a baby, if you notice the main character, the character talking is talking to an empty crib probably, and they're just cutting back to the baby just going bah, 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 whatever. This is them in their arm. The baby hates them and they're showing their faces, so it's like you're not even faking it. I do wonder about the parents, where it's like, do you just have like a very crying baby that like is just crying all the time, so it's like, use my baby? In my
ugly Mary Jesus movie, we're gonna need to have a baby. I'm sure I'm going to need the baby to cry at some point, probably when he sees his mom. I don't know. So the baby's going to cry at some point. I wouldn't mind doing that as a director, but I do mind the parents allowing me to do that to their kid. I would be like, oh, thanks for signing up. God, you're a piece of shit. All right, let's make his baby cry.
I know. I guess in my optimistic phase of this watching,
the baby's a real actor. The baby's a real actor and understands it. I saw this movie finally. It's called 365 Days. And this guy kidnaps a woman and says, you know what? I'll give you 1 year. I'm going to make you fall in love with me in 1 year. And if you don't, you honestly don't, which I think is impossible. I'm gorgeous. Of course, I'm on TV. I'll let you go. Not the greatest message, I guess, for young people. And I say young people because I can tell I never saw it before, and it's paused right after a sex scene. So I know one of my stepkids watched it on my account because Kyle didn't watch it. Yeah, I know exactly what they finished to. All right, good for them. So,
I did see the trailer of this, and I wanted to throw up because they're not showing this as a look. You can have whatchamacallit syndrome, where you fall in love with your captor.
Yeah, right. Sure.
Yeah. It's not that.
Stockholm,
yeah. You can get Stockholm syndrome. This is like a warning for cult-like behavior and shit like that. This was like, oh my God, I didn't expect to have chemistry with this. Like with like Dear Penthouse or whatever. Like I never thought it could happen to me. They think they're being cute. Like
I wasn't gonna fuck this guy until he tied me to a bed and had another hot girl blow him, and I got jealous.
Ew.
This is I jacked off to this movie. A different scene deliberately. I picked it. I didn't want to be too close.
Sure.
It's porn. But here's my point.
If you're using your porn brain, that's an okay movie.
Yeah. I know what I'm watching is sick. It makes me think about the baby. The baby is not an actor. And these actors, they were fucking. There's no way. If you saw this movie 365 Days, you could tell me they weren't fucking. And I know people are hearing it, rolling their eyes like, really, kid? You think so? I really sure I saw a dick in a vagina from the side, a little bit of a pole all of a sudden missing. They're fucking. There's no way you watch this as a viewer and thought, no, when I fuck, I get closer. You don't get closer than those two bodies were getting. I think he really did spit in her pussy. I think they really were fucking. And I saw some interview. I Googled it. I saw some interview where the actress is like, no, of course not. It's just trying to be clever. That'd be impossible. Impossible what? To fuck? It happens. And you did it. And I know it.
All right. I mean, okay, sure.
Watch it. You didn't agree with me in Squid Game. And now you can't join the cult festival.
All right, okay. I didn't, I don't know if I'm going to watch it. That sounds really disturbing. And I wonder if that's disturbing or what's more disturbing is I said earlier, if you watch it with your porn brain, then it's fine. Like, wait, what?
Right. The one that fucks up everything you do in life. Yes. Yeah, right. The porn brain.
Holy shit.
Now they're fucking, they're up against, there's, slamming on the table. Just scenes where you're like, did they watch this and go, I think we explained the art? You know what I mean? No, you're just fucking.
Yeah, but also like if somebody kidnapped me and then tied me up and had someone else blow them, I'm crying because that person is probably captured also. And maybe I can talk to her about getting the fuck out of here.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure she wants to be there, the other woman.
Right. You're so gorgeous that this is what's happening. An experiment on life? Like, who are you, Hitler? So what I'm hoping is at the end, and I know it's not going to happen, at the end, she reveals that she was pretending to be all into it and she fucking stabs the shit out of him 63 times.
Dude, you don't know how this guy fucks. You ain't doing that.
Shit.
Believe me.
Okay.
Believe me.
Dignitized. I didn't know that.
Speaking of COVID, here's a story happening in Miami. A Florida school, private school in Miami, is requiring students who got vaccinated against COVID-19 to stay home for 30 days after each dose. This school believes that it's the vaccine that's causing the problems, and somehow you're shedding poison after you get the vaccine. So you have to stay at home 30 days after. You're hearing me, right? 30 days after getting the vaccine because you have the bad stuff in you. What is going on in this science class of theirs? You got to take your kid and run, right? That's the end of the story. There's no debate.
I think this is why your kid goes to private school, so that they can make their own private decisions on stupidity. I don't know. I went to private school for Jew shit. How were you telling me that shit?
Right.
Half the day of Jew shit. Like, this is the same. I'm sorry. This is the same shit. You're making up fucking concepts and building a school system around it. And you're making up science. And then you're building a fucking school system around it. What the fuck are you doing? And because it's private school, you're allowed to do it.
What was math? Was it regular math in your school, or you guys only do addition? Parents whose children attend Center Academy in Miami received a letter from the school urging them to hold off until the summer if they plan to get their children vaccinated, so that you have those 3 months or whatever to shed the poison. The letter said that if parents still get their children vaccinated, there's going to be a mandatory quarantine period. Because of the potential impact on other students and our school community, vaccinated students will need to stay at home for at least 30 days for each shot. That includes boosters, etc.
Are they providing virtual school during that time?
Just don't say you got it then. First of all, take your kid out of that school. But if you just, he loves his friends so much, then just don't say you got it.
You have to be kept out 30 days for each. And it's like every 6 months, you need a booster or something, right? So you're out at least
so far,
3 months, right? And then I pay you thousands of dollars for my kid to attend. By the way, my private school didn't even have like hot lunch or anything. We had to bring in our own food. And nice. I'm thinking, like, my father paid for 3 kids to go to private school. And then my mother had to wake up and make us lunch every morning. And you couldn't have meat. It was a dairy lunch only because it's a yeshiva. So they have to pick one or the other. You can't mix meat and dairy.
Oh, it's like tomorrow's meat day. You all bring meat from home. No dairy.
Never meat. We never were allowed to bring meat.
Oh my goodness.
Never. Yeah.
Well, I see some of these school lunches, and that's not meat either. I don't know what the fuck that is. So if you follow my Twitter, I've been retweeting from this school. There's some school in New Jersey that posts like, here's today's lunch. Is the worst shit. It's a shriveled up dry hot dog. Those obviously frozen and microwave green beans, chocolate milk, and some piece of candy. And they show it. And then they show the little tiny kids that eat it as if they're happy.
Are they trying to show like, hey, school system, step this up? Or
no,
it's not like that.
It's the cafeteria workers tweeting out like, another beautiful lunch and an orange.
Oh my God. That reminds me. I went to Xerxes and I went to IKEA, and I got to stop eating lunch at a fucking furniture store.
Probably.
That was my last time. So like, there are steps to being an adult, and I just took another one this weekend.
Right. Well,
I'm the asshole that buys the salmon.
The salmon? They're like, we have that? You think it's cute. They call the salmon the shrug. But no, they just legally can't call it salmon.
They have so much salmon. And I'm like, they have so much salmon. They must be so into salmon. This has to be good. Why? I had it before. Did I think that before? Oh my God. Is
it interesting that you have to point it out in the buffet line where the salmon is every time?
It's like 3 things. Oh, also, they only have like meals for a lot of it. So it's like chicken fingers come with French fries and that fucking boiled broccoli that they smushed to death. So Xerxes orders the chicken fingers, and the French fries apparently are creating a whole line. They won't be ready for another 2 minutes, but they're telling you that every 2 minutes. So Xerxes goes, can I get mashed potatoes and something stupid instead? They're like, no, it only comes with that. And we're like, okay, could we skip the fries? Now that we think about it, we probably shouldn't be eating fries. Let's skip the fries. Just give me the chicken fingers. No, you have to have it with fries.
That's right.
Okay, I understand that this is throwing you somehow, but
Right.
like, we're gonna pay for the meal. We just don't put the fries on the plate. No. You have to have it with fries. And we repeat, we go,
Right.
we have to have the fry. We have to eat, like, clean your plate. And then the fries are finally ready. But Xerxes goes, I don't want the broccoli. And they're like, okay. I'm like, what the fuck?
But you have to have fries.
You have to have fries. You have to. Are you an American?
Do you throw the fries out like right in front of them? Like, and this is the saddest shit I've ever seen.
That'd be great. No, of course you eat fries when they're on your table.
A school administrator in South Lake, Texas, advised teachers last week that if they have a book about the Holocaust in their classroom, they should also have a book with, quote, an opposing perspective.
Are you writing that book?
This is school. This is school.
What's the opposing side?
Guess. Guess. Maybe
There's
everyone
two
had a
sides to every
point. No,
fight.
it's an opposing side. I did during the break, I did Dante Nero's podcast, Man School 202. We're up to 202 now. And that's smarter than 101 that they used to have.
Oh, so wait, do they keep changing the name of the show, or we're just on 202 now?
They changed it, but this is where we're at. I don't know if we'll ever get to 303. Okay. I don't know what those numbers really mean.
So this is Man School.
But we're at Man School, and he's going to teach, but he'll teach all genders facts about life. It was very fun. This was the first real, one of the first real outings I've had. Like, we went camping, of course, but we trusted everybody. Everybody was vaxxed, but you're far away enough. You're not really, at the time, you're man spreading. You can put your hands on other people's pants. You're just sitting there doing nothing. And then I hung out once with Brolo and, his wife. But other than that, I was never, I don't know. I was kind of curious how I would be. I know we kept doing Keith and the Girls, so I'm not insane. But I didn't know how am I going to be around people. It hasn't happened in a long time. And their co-host, Terry Tarjanian, was an hour late. And I'm like, so I'm going to make small talk for I happen to be free, so no problem. But I didn't know until I was there. There's no point to go back home. And so I'm like, all right, let's see if I can carry on a conversation.
Right.
Where I have to engage as opposed to camping. You can just walk away and eat a burger for, all of a sudden you're not rude. I did very, very well.
First of all, congratulations. It really does deserve congratulations. I have been thinking about that also because, yes, we have started to socialize, and you've seen us do the first, and we did go to Jeopardy, Ophira's show. Oh my God. So much fucking fun. All the fun that you thought you were going to have. Fantastic. Right. But now I'm thinking, I guess we're open, right? So do I start making actual plans with people? Like I met, Vince was in town. So I met with Allie and Vince one time, but it was a very scary, like, keep your distance. We didn't get near each other. Okay. But now I'm wondering do I make plans with human beings now, like in general? And I've been on pause a little bit, but I am going to do it.
There you go. Scary,
right? It's so weird that we're having this conversation. And like you said, we've been talking to people forever. And I think the show, the chat, we've organized stuff online enough outside of Keith and the Girl as well, where we were one of the lucky ones that really got to keep in touch and be with people as much as we can virtually. But it's nerve-wracking. It's nerve-wracking in so many different ways.
Have you ever heard of Shatter? It's I looked it up after I heard the name. It's the crack of weed. Yeah. I'm like, the what? I was offered it when I was over there, and I partook, but I did Google it, and I'm like, this sounds scary. I'm like, just so you know, I'm going to be on your show. He's like, you'll be fine. But that's a wacky name, but it just seems like it's the wax.
Hold on. You did Shatter before you started the show?
I'm a professional. Remember, when you hear it, I'm on Shatter.
Shut up. How'd you do?
Great.
Wow. Yeah. I remember you do pretty well on Weed. Like, we were on Doug Benson's show and you were fine. I mean, we were both very goofy, but
Right.
I don't know. Like, I feel like there was surprise, like, oh, these people are enjoying weed. And we're like, yeah, we still enjoy weed. Also, we were on Ramin Nazar's podcast years ago. And
Right.
I remember smoking and I was like, holy shit, because you forget LA weed is so much stronger. And I was like, holy shit. And I think I spaced out in the middle of that show a little bit. And you were bop, 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 bop. We thought that show would be me and him because he's a little more
Hippie.
new age. Like, yeah,
Right.
my tattoo is like, from his artwork. And he's very like, find your path and blah, blah, blah. So it would be like probably me and him, and you would chime in and just be like, I got a comment. It was you and him just like finding the universe. And I was like, are we still here?
Right. Yeah, Kenley says the other day, you want to talk about the universe and stuff? And I'm like, I'm not shattered. Okay. No, thank you. But
So
he
how'd
goes,
it go?
you'll be fine. He said, it was fun. It was fun. You'll be fine. Don't worry about shatter. You're a professional. And I'm not saying he told me this story because I don't know if I'm allowed to retell it. So I was on some show sometime, and the host was telling me a story where they had on Artie Lang, the comedian. And I think this was before his nose collapsed, but he was a guest on this show. And he started nodding out, and looking back, it was obviously from heroin, but he started nodding out, passes out, but is sitting upright, shits his pants.
No.
The podcast is done in this dude's house. Shits his pants. He comes to and goes, everybody knows it, but nobody mentions it. And he goes, I'm just going to use the bathroom real quick. Takes a full shower. Comes back and is just like, hey, how's it going, guys? Blah, 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 blah. He's a pro.
But what was he wearing?
Maybe, I guess, a towel. That's a good question.
Right? Because I remember when you shit your pants.
Well, the way she's saying
yeah,
it,
I know. But even after everything was washed.
Yeah, it's ruined. Yeah.
That is hard to get out.
They put 3 pine cones around his neck, those car air fresheners, and they had a show. So there you have it. How'd your staycation go?
It was good. It was really good. I want to tell you all about it, but I think we need to close out for today's episode and catch you in the next one. What do you think of that?
Fair's fair. I'll tell you some things we'll talk about next time. There's Superman's son is bisexual. Isn't that funny? You know he's gay and he's just not willing to say it yet.
No,
but
Keith, that's not okay.
Huh? Well, I'm teasing people. This is how we get people excited. Okay. I don't believe all people are created equal. We'll talk about that. No. All right. Yeah.
No.
So let me mention this though, if I may. If you follow us on Twitter, you might have seen one of our new OMAD Club buddies, Sharam. He writes, I'm glowing this morning. I met him for the first time at OMAD today. Partially from trying to hold a plank for a minute and then some jumping jacks for a minute, but mostly from the amazing experience I just had from my first OMAD Club with Hemda, Keith, Catherine Heller, numerous other amazing individuals. So they're a fan already. So thank you to all my OMAD buddies. And,
what a warm meeting today. We didn't have it last week, and it felt so good to come back. So shout out to the OMAT club members.
Right. That's it, everybody. I love you, and click like if you like me back.